What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're actually gonna go from downtown Los Angeles up to Thousand Oaks area. It's about an hour away, but we're really in the thick of morning rush hour Los Angeles traffic. It's 8:16 a.m. and I just downloaded the new Tesla update. So we're gonna see how Autopilot does in today's morning Los Angeles traffic. Let's get into the video. All right, so just getting set up here. As you can see, I got a new camera point, so you can see kind of the steering wheel in action and as it makes its, I guess like corrections or adjustments, or Tesla makes its adjustments as it goes through the morning rush hour traffic and the highways and such. All right, so we're gonna get on the highway right here, highway on-ramp, and then we're gonna throw it into Autopilot. Cool, so it looks like I can just throw it midway onto the on-ramp. That's actually really cool. Okay, so of course there's traffic right at this area. There's almost always traffic at this highway exchange or highway, a couple highway exchanges at this area in downtown Los Angeles. So we're gonna merge onto the highway. It's a pretty, I guess, like sudden merge onto the highway, but that was pretty easy. I guess we were behind a truck right there, and there was an SUV behind us, so it was pretty easy to kind of navigate that through there. Of course, there's a lot of traffic here as people try and get onto the 101 North. And then there's a couple highway on-ramps that come on here. And there's also another highway interchange to the right. So as you can imagine, there's just a lot of action kind of as people try and cross through these lanes here to get to their highways. So in terms of what version this is 2020.40.3. At the time of this recording, this is the latest version, version 10.2. Full self-driving hardware 3. This is a 2019 Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth with the 18-inch rims. So we're just chugging along pretty slow here, trying to get onto the 101 North. There is this car just trying to slowly come in, but Tesla is really not detecting that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and disengage the Tesla Autopilot so this Honda Accord can come into our lane. Tesla was just creeping up slowly, really just looking at the truck in front of us. And I guess it was really waiting for the Honda Accord to come in at the last moment, and then it would just slam on its brakes and let it come in. So I just went ahead and disengaged it. I kind of wanted to disengage it anyway because this lane going onto the 101 North is typically a lot slower than the one on the right. So I'm gonna try and get into the one on the right, but it looks like both of them are actually both really slow today. So we're just easing up a little bit right now. As you can see, I'm not in Autopilot, kind of making manual adjustments with my steering wheel. All right, so now I'm gonna disengage and get into this right lane because it is a teeny bit faster to get onto the 101 North. Just as I said that, of course, the lane I exited just cleared up just a little bit. All right, so I'm just gonna throw it in Autopilot. This next few on-ramps and merge changes are gonna be a little hectic, I can already predict. I also haven't driven really on Autopilot in rush hour traffic for a bit now, so we'll see how the new updates really handle this. All right, so we're gonna slowly take this highway on-ramp or exit ramp onto the next one. It's a 35-mile-per-hour turn, but we're going about 10 miles an hour. Cruise control speed setting is set to about 24 miles an hour. We're just slowly pacing this car in front of us. The Tesla Autopilot is actually pretty smooth right now. I remember taking this turn probably months ago or even a year ago, and it was definitely a little jerky. The steering wheel would kind of turn in, out as it was kind of following the turn, but this one was actually pretty smooth. Granted, we are going pretty slow here, and it's just kind of inching forward, so it doesn't really have to make too many corrections or adjustments. Pretty smooth. Inching a little bit now, increasing speed slowly to about 5 miles an hour. Okay, a little acceleration jerk right there to 15 miles an hour. Okay, this next area is going to get a little hectic. We have a highway merge coming from our left, and then we have a highway on-ramp merge coming from our right. And all three of these lanes kind of merge to create, I think, 4 to 5 lanes on the 101 North. You can imagine coming up, there's gonna be a lot of cars trying to merge in left and right. Tesla typically has some issues with this because it doesn't, like you saw earlier, it doesn't necessarily detect the cars coming in and merging into your lanes to the last moment. But let's see how conservative or aggressive Tesla takes this highway merge area. Okay, we have a Camry coming in from our right side. Definitely enough room. Tesla broke a little bit there, braked a little bit there, and now it's inching forward and just kind of following. It wants me to get into the left lane. The navigator on autopilot wants me to get into the left lane, but there's this huge truck, of course. This is actually a perfect lane for Tesla Autopilot because after you're in that lane, it becomes its own lane and you don't have to deal with the merges on the left side. So actually, very smoothly there. Tesla didn't brake too heavily, and actually there was a good amount of space for the car to come in front of us, to come into our lane, this Camry in front of us. All right, this van is kind of pump faking to come into our lane. It decided at the last second not to, and Tesla kind of closed the gap and accelerated forward. Hopefully you like this new angle of the steering wheel. A viewer actually commented and recommended this angle just so they can see all the adjustments that the steering wheel, or the Tesla steering wheel, is actually making. If you like the new view, please comment below and hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get into this left lane. Actually pretty good. Whoa, okay, so that was a little bit jerky. Trying to get into the left lane there, but the Audi that just passed us was accelerating a little bit faster, so the Tesla actually had enough room, so if it wanted to go into the lane, it would have cut off the car. But at the last second, Tesla aborted, shifted back into our lane, and the Audi accelerated through. But the cool thing I noticed right after that is that the Tesla just decided to jerk into the lane again right after, which is a pretty aggressive move for auto lane change, full self-driving system. If you hadn't heard the news, well, at the time of this recording, Elon says that he's gonna release a new full self-driving update, select safe owners in the Tesla Model 3 or Tesla owners community. That's gonna be a very huge enhancement for full self-driving. So this is some very exciting stuff. Hopefully we should be able to see some improvements and some more areas that we can use full self-driving for, so we can all be more testers of the prototype Teslas. Increasing speed to about 54 miles an hour. We are exiting kind of out of that early Los Angeles traffic, but I do know there's going to be another 2 areas of traffic that we can kind of experience during this video. All right, so going about 50 miles an hour on a cruise control setting of 65. This SUV just pulled out of our lane. As you can see, there's a huge gap in front of us. So Tesla likes to really wait for the last second for the car to leave, and then it will start to close the gap in front of us. Earlier, Tesla Navigate and Autopilot system wanted to get into the left lane, but I didn't actually give it the confirmation, so we're staying in this lane. Going about 65 miles an hour, the cruise control setting is set to 65. I do probably want to get out of this lane, maybe get into the left, but it looks like there's some cars up ahead. So maybe I'll get into the right lane just as this truck kind of is going as well. So let's go ahead and hit that. Maybe that might not be a good idea because this car is probably wanting to get into our lane as well. Okay, so I just disengaged Autopilot because I wasn't sure what Tesla was going to do there. I feel like the car was going to come in and then the Tesla was going to brake a little bit. So I disengaged, took control of it a little bit, accelerated past that car, and then threw it back into Autopilot as it is now. A little bit of braking there for that car that decided to kind of come into our lane last minute. I guess Tesla freaked out a little bit and just broke pretty suddenly. If you notice me touching the steering wheel every so often, that's actually the Tesla Nag Timer. Basically every 30 to a minute, give or take, you have to kind of let the Tesla know that you're still here. So you can either kind of nudge the wheel, but I've noticed that sometimes I can throw that out of autopilot, or you can kind of either adjust the volume knob or the speed knob. So the left one adjusts the volume of whatever you're playing, kind of scrolling up or down, and then the right one adjusts your speed of the cruise control setting, kind of up or down on the right side. Okay, so we're definitely in some heavy Los Angeles morning rush hour traffic. It's actually 8:32 a.m. right now. Conditions are about 77 degrees, but we're going about 10 miles an hour, very, very slowly. We're passing like the East Hollywood or Hollywood area up the 101 North. We're pretty slowly here, going about 20 miles an hour now. I don't know if you can see, there's a traffic light off to the right over there on that highway exit. And Tesla's kind of detected it and almost thought it was gonna stop for that traffic light, which was kind of interesting. So maybe it's a little bit too sensitive, and that's probably why a lot of owners right now are experiencing phantom braking on the highways. If you don't know what phantom braking is, it's when you're on autopilot going on the highway or any really roads, it just starts to brake heavily for really no reason, or you can't tell why. And so you kind of freak out, and it's really jarring actually, because you're not necessarily knowing why it's braking, and you don't want someone to rear end you in the back. So I typically keep my foot on the accelerator just so I can kind of accelerate out of that, just in case it does that when I'm driving on autopilot. All right, so a little bit of pump braking right there. Once the vehicle in front of us went out of our lane, the Tesla started to pump brake or pump fake braking or pumping the brakes as it tried to ease up a little bit, but I'm actually not sure why it did that because there's no cars coming into our lane at all. The only thing is that it does want to get into the left lane right now to get out of this lane. So, and it's kind of been recommending that for a little bit, but typically in rush hour traffic like this, it's very hard for the Tesla to make these kind of auto lane changes, especially because the cars on the left are going a lot faster than the cars in our lane. So, okay, here's a truck. Let's see if we can trigger it, and it can be aggressive, maybe not. Okay, how about this? There's another truck coming on our left side now. Let me turn on the camera so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so now the lane is definitely empty. It should be able to make this auto lane change pretty easily. And, okay. So it waited a bit till that car was in front of us, and then it made the auto lane change. Right, so we are starting to increase speed now to about 46 miles an hour. Cruise control setting is still set to 65. I'm gonna increase it to 75 and try and get out from behind this truck. See if I can get into the right lane. I actually originally want to go into the left lane, but let's see if I can get into the right lane instead to accelerate from behind this truck. Actually, let's go into the right lane. So auto lane change engaged, pretty easily went into that lane. These cars are definitely going a lot faster than this truck. Hopefully we should be getting out of this first traffic area within the Hollywood area. So let's go back into the right lane. I see some of these cars slowing up, and this lane is pretty clear. A little bit bumpy, of course. This is Los Angeles, so hopefully you guys can still hear some good audio quality. All right, so Tesla took that turn a little bit jerky. It was a kind of bouncy road, as hopefully you can kind of see, but you can see the steering wheel kind of turn in and then out and then in and then out. Or maybe I was just feeling what the steering wheel felt like because it was going through those bumps. This area of road is going to be a little bit smoother, but not by much. All right, so this HR-V just was going to come into our lane, but it decided to cancel at the last moment. Just very bumpy here. But we're going about 71 miles on a 75-mile cruise control setting. Definitely want to get out from behind this work truck because don't necessarily like driving behind cars with a lot of stuff on them like that. Tesla says that they're going to have a new update or new features in which the Autopilot system will be able to kind of navigate around potholes and I think items on the highway, but we'll see how that actually rolls out or when it actually rolls out and see how effective it is. All right, so there's really no cars in front of us, so we should be increasing speed here, but as you can see, Tesla really likes to take it really slow when cars leave our lane and it wants to close the gap. So you can see we're going about 55 miles an hour and increased it very slowly to about 75 miles an hour, which is the cruise control setting. Now we're going pretty fast, even faster than some of these cars on our left and our right. We should be through that first area of traffic, but there is another one up in the North Hollywood area that we'll encounter. We're now passing Universal Studios or Studio City. This is the perfect lane to be in to get onto the 101 North. Going about 61 miles an hour, just following this car in front of us. There really should be no issues with getting onto the next highway or lane changes, so we should be pretty good at this kind of point. All right, so I'm gonna get out of this lane because since it's kind of in the middle here, cars are gonna go between the two lanes to get either on the 110 North or the 101 North. Got to this lane, we're now gonna take the highway on-ramp or highway interchange to continue on to the 101 North. This next area is probably where we're gonna see a little bit of traffic coming up here. All right, so taking this highway turn a little bit quick, 65 miles an hour. It's still kind of doing that thing where when it takes a highway turn or a high-speed turn, it likes to hug the right side of the lane a little bit, or maybe I feel like it realizes the turn a little bit too late and then decides to take the turn. I love to see that in one of the new updates in which Tesla Autopilot system can recognize the turn a little bit earlier and maybe stay to the inner side of the lane. Or maybe when I drive, I stay into the inner side and Tesla's really just staying in the center or to the center to the right or center to the outside of the turn a little bit more. All right, so we're going about 65 miles an hour, and it looks like there's really no traffic in this North Hollywood area at all. So I guess this is where I'm gonna go ahead and end it, guys. Thanks for watching another video, guys. Please hit that like if you enjoyed it. Comment below on your thoughts on this new camera angle, or how you think Autopilot did, or if you have the new Autopilot update, how it's been doing for your commutes and your drives. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.